On the surface, Long Island looks like the perfect escape. Sandy beaches, family homes, and quiet suburbs just an hour outside New York City. But beneath that postcard image, an evil lurked. It began with a single woman's desperate call for help. A panicked 911 call, a search through marshland, and a discovery that would open the door to one of America's most disturbing cold cases. Tonight, we follow the chilling trail of the Long Island serial killer. A case of corruption, missed chances, and a predator hiding in plain sight. May 1st, 2010. 24-year-old Shannan Gilbert, a young woman from New Jersey, takes a job arranged through Craigslist. She arrives at a client's house in Oak Beach, a private community by Gilgo Beach. But within hours, something goes horribly wrong. "They're after me. Please help me. They're trying to kill me." Shannan's 23-minute 911 call is haunting. She ran from the home of her client, Joseph Brewer, pounding on neighbors' doors, begging for help. But no one stayed with her. No one called 911 again. And within minutes, she vanished into the night. Police began a small search, but Shannan was treated as a runaway, not a victim. Months passed, and her mother kept begging authorities to keep looking. But when the search finally intensified, what they found was far more than just one missing woman. December 2010. A K-9 unit searching for Shannan stumbles across human remains in the brush near Gilgo Beach. But they don't belong to Shannan. Instead, police uncover 4 women, for bodies wrapped in burlap sacks, discarded like trash. Melissa Barthélemy, 24. Amber Costello, 27. Megan Waterman, 22. Maureen Brainerd Barnes, 25. All young women. All sex workers advertising through Craigslist. All last seen alive between 2007 and 2010. This discovery sets off alarm bells nationwide. The press dubs the killer the Craigslist Ripper. But the nightmare is only beginning. In the following months, more remains are discovered along Ocean Parkway. The count grows to 10, possibly 11 victims. Some are identified. Some remain nameless. One of the most haunting discoveries: toddler's body, a baby girl, found near the remains of her mother, and an unidentified Asian male, dressed in women's clothing. Still, to this day, a mystery. By now, the public is terrified. Parents, residents, and families of victims demand answers. Is there a serial killer on Long Island? Or worse, multiple killers all using Gilgo Beach as their dumping ground? As investigators searched for answers, suspicion fell on nearly everyone connected to Oak Beach. Theories spread like wildfire, fueled by fear and the eerie silence of the killer. One name stood out: Dr. Peter Hackett, a local physician living just blocks from where Shannan disappeared. Days after her vanishing, Hackett called Shannan's mother, claiming he had seen her that night and even treated her at his home. Later, he denied making the call at all. But phone records proved otherwise. Was Hackett just a man trying to insert himself into the case? Or was he hiding something? To this day, opinions remain divided. Then there was Joseph Brewer, the client who had hired Shannan. He insisted he did nothing wrong, claiming Shannan fled his house in a panic for reasons he never understood. Brewer was never charged, but his connection to her final hours has fueled suspicion for years. And looming over all of it was Chief James Burke, the man running Suffolk County Police during the investigation. His refusal to involve the FBI raised eyebrows immediately. Some theorized that Burke himself was covering up for the killer, or even involved. The more investigators looked, the more the community began to wonder, was the killer someone powerful? Someone close to the police? Or perhaps even one of their own? 18 months after she vanished, searchers finally found Shannan Gilbert's remains. Not in burlap, but scattered across a marsh in Oak Beach. Police quickly ruled her death an accident, claiming she was disoriented, paranoid, and drowned in the wetlands. But her family refused to believe it. Shannan's 911 call suggested she was running from someone. Neighbors remembered her pounding on doors, screaming for her life. And an independent autopsy found possible signs of strangulation. To her mother, Mari Gilbert, this was no accident. It was murder, Mari became the loudest voice demanding answers, pushing police to keep the investigation alive. Her fight even inspired the Netflix film Lost Girls. But Mari's own story ended in tragedy. In 2016, she was murdered, stabbed to death by her other daughter, Sarah, who suffered from severe mental illness. Mari's crusade for justice ended violently, but her fight to keep Shannan's case in the spotlight lives on through advocates and surviving family members. Shannan Gilbert remains the most mysterious figure in this case. Was she a victim of the Long Island serial killer? Or was her death a separate crime, forever entangled in this web of darkness? As the years dragged on, the investigation stalled. Families accused police of indifference, incompetence, even corruption. At the center of it all was Chief James Burke. He not only refused FBI involvement, but actively derailed the investigation. Why? Because Burke himself was hiding secrets. In 2015, Burke was arrested and sentenced to prison for brutally beating a suspect who had stolen a duffel bag from his car. Inside that bag, pornography, sex toys, and other disturbing items. He then tried to cover it up by pressuring officers to lie. Burke's downfall destroyed public trust. Many began to ask, if the man leading the investigation was corrupt, how many mistakes were covered up? How many leads were ignored? How many families suffered because of it? Years were lost, and while the case grew cold, the killer or killers remained free. With the investigation stalling, the FBI and criminal profilers stepped in, even without full cooperation from local police. They studied the killer's methods, the choice of victims, and the location of the dump sites. The profile they built was chilling. A white male, aged 30 to 50, familiar with Long Island's South Shore, likely married, holding a stable job, intelligent enough to evade capture for years, but arrogant, convinced he could outsmart investigators. The burlap sacks stood out. They weren't random. They suggested planning, hunting, precision. Whoever Lisk was, he wasn't sloppy. He was careful. He was patient. And perhaps most disturbing of all, the killer might have lived a normal suburban life, blending in as a neighbor, a coworker, even a family man. Years turned to decades. Families feared answers would never come. But then technology caught up. Investigators began reanalyzing the case with new forensic tools. They traced the killer's use of burner phones to contact victims. They tracked cell tower pings, placing the suspect in the Gilgo Beach area at key times. Hair recovered from one of the burlap bags revealed a female DNA profile. It didn't match the victims, but it did match someone else. The wife of the man police had been quietly watching. In July 2023, after more than a decade of fear and frustration, police finally made an arrest. On July 13, 2023, detectives swarmed a modest home in Massapequa Park, Long Island. The suspect was Rex Heuermann, a 59-year-old New York City architect. On the outside, Heuermann looked ordinary. He lived in the same childhood home he grew up in. He was married with 2 children. He commuted daily to his office near Times Square. Neighbors described him as quiet, though some admitted he gave them an uneasy feeling. But behind closed doors, prosecutors allege, Heuermann lived a double life. He used burner phones to arrange meetings with escorts. He stored disturbing searches on his computer. And his DNA, through his wife's genetic link, tied him to at least 3 of the Gilgo Beach victims. The news shocked the nation. After more than 13 years, police claimed they had their Long Island serial killer. But the story doesn't end here. Rex Heuermann has pleaded not guilty. His trial has yet to begin, and questions still hang heavy in the air. Was Heuermann the sole killer? Or just one of many predators who used Gilgo Beach as their hunting ground? What about Shannan Gilbert? Was she one of his victims, or was her death unrelated? And could there still be more bodies waiting to be found? For the families, closure remains elusive. For investigators, the work is far from over. And for the rest of us, the case of the Long Island serial killer serves as a haunting reminder that monsters don't always hide in shadows. Sometimes they live next door. This was the story of the Long Island serial killer, a mystery still unfolding, with answers that may change everything we thought we knew. And the darkest question of all, Has the real killer truly been caught? Or is he still out there? If you love the story, subscribe to this channel for more interesting stories.